Today I will be reviewing the new Riviera palette from Anastasia of Beverly Hills. As you can see by the packaging, it's a beautiful blue and white, and it looks like it's actually laced with like a denim type of material, and the writing is in gold, which kind of gives you that nautical feel, you know, like the Riviera, which is in France, gives you that Mediterranean look. Kind of think of like that cool linen khaki kind of attire, and just enjoying the beautiful ocean blue and the Western European type of theme. And I just love this packaging. It's so beautiful. Again, it is by Anastasia Beverly Hills, so we will be reviewing this today. As you can see, she comes out with her famous, I believe, 14 shades, and it's gorgeous. Look at those vibrant shades. I'm really intrigued, and I cannot wait to actually dabble in the Seychelles, which is that beautiful blue, and even the Bahamas. And with this packaging, as you can see, the interior is like a beautiful blue, like a navy blue, and it has like a little bit of a metallic look. She also has her signature brush that comes with it, a dual-ended brush. And obviously, I did not take the sticker off of the packaging. Probably won't, because I can't stand it when my palettes get all mucked up with the mirror all messed up with the eyeshadow. So we're not gonna do that. But anyways, you can see that it gives like that vibrant tropical feel. It's a little bit different from her more earlier palettes, which were more of like the natural fall autumn-esque warm tones, where it had like the burgundies and the browns and things like that. This gives you more of like, okay, winter is almost done finally, and spring and summer is right around the corner, and this is ideal for that. I can't wait to actually dabble into this. So let's just go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna go in and start off with my Peach Perfect primer, mattifying primer. I'm going to put that in my hand. Next, I'm gonna go in with my Peach Perfect foundation in the shade Toffee. And I'm actually going to be using the sponge by Anastasia. She has her little imprint in it. It's a cute curvature palette, or excuse me, sponge. So I'm going to go ahead and use that to put my foundation on. This is the first time I'm using this sponge. It is a little bit stiffer than like the Beauty Blender sponge. I do feel like the Beauty Blender sponge kind of blends out your makeup a little bit better. That's just my first impressions, but we shall see. Next, I'm going to go ahead and conceal with the Born This Way Full Coverage Concealer. This is in shade Maple. This is something that I've not used before on myself, so this will be interesting. I will say this, I have heard reviews about it. It's kind of comparable to Tarte Shape Tape, which is also a full coverage concealer, and it also has kind of like a little bit of a tacky feel, so this will be my first time trying it out. I'm excited. Such a pretty wand. Look at that. I'm trying to be extra careful because I am wearing a white sweatshirt and I don't want to get anything on it. Granted, even though we're doing a review on a Riviera, we are not in the Riviera. It is still cold where I live. So, but I figure I'd give you vibes of the nautical with my gold and my white, looking fresh, even though I'm warming up. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I'm having to work harder using this sponge. So, foundation, concealer is laid. We are going to go ahead in with my Becca, I always forget this name, Golden Hour setting powder. I don't really set my face with this. I've said it before in my other previous videos. What I like to do with it is use it for my highlights and set that area. I will say this, using this sponge, it's not my favorite. I'm not gonna lie, it's not my favorite. I'm like fighting with it. I'm like, dude, will you just submit? Good grief. All right, so that's done. Let's put the top back on. And I am a very oily girl. I've said that also in previous videos. So what I've been doing lately is that I've been triple powdering. Even though that particular powder, the Becca one, I use strategically to highlight certain points of my face, and I don't actually use it to set or illuminate my face, I still like to use it because it is a powder. Next, I'm actually going to go in, because again, I triple powder. I'm going to be using my Fenty in the shade Hazelnut, the Fenty translucent powder. And again, we're just going to use the top. And one thing I will say about powdering my face, I am not concerned or alarmed about how much powder I'm putting on. I can't stress it enough. I am a very oily girl, so what ends up happening is I end up looking very dry and very powdery because of all the powder that I put on my face, and I do that triple powder method. But because I am oily again, it actually it balances itself out, where my natural oils will sink in with the powders, and then it ends up not looking so dry. So that's why I triple powder, and that's why I'm not concerned about looking kind of ashy or anything like that, because I know that it will settle itself out. Next, I'm gonna go in with my Laura Mercier setting powder, and this I am gonna actually use to bake my face. The Fenty one I use to, yes, help to powder and keep me dry, but also because if you notice the Fenty one, the Hazelnut, did come in a shade, and so I use that more for the toning of my skin tone, so that way I won't look so ashy. The translucent powder from Laura Mercier is in the white texture, and I use this to actually bake my face. So we're gonna bake it. And since we are using eyeshadows, we definitely want to make sure that we are set underneath our eyes to catch any fallout. And I try to put a lot on my nose, if you notice, because that's where I get the most shiniest. I end up looking like a crystal ball. So if I don't put this powder on and really get in this area, I will look like a crystal ball. The only area with the Laura Mercier that I don't let set is my chin area. I do actually blend that press and roll method into my chin, and I only leave it in this area because I did use my Fenty for the outer areas to give me that soft sculpt. Alright, so I'm just gonna brush out my brows because I want to get that powder off before I actually fill in my brows. Now I'm going to go ahead and prime. I like to prime my eyes before I actually put on my eyebrows, because I don't want the product that I use to actually alter or change the shape or the color of the eyebrows, because you spend too much time on brows. So I am going to be using my Makeup Forever Ultra HD Step 1 eyeshadow base. Some people use powders, or excuse me, some people use concealers and then set their eyeshadow, set their concealer with the setting powder and use that. I prefer to use primers, but I think I am going to try using a concealer and translucent powder duo before I actually put on my eyeshadow. So that might be something I might do in the future, who knows. I'm going to do my brows and then I'll be right back. So brows are laid, and I did go in with my tried and true Precisely Brow by Benefit in shade number 5. So they are done, and now we're off to doing the actual star of the show, which is the new Riviera palette. As mentioned before, it's like a beautiful, tropical, colorful palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. As you can see, it comes in 14 shades. There are, let's see, 8 matte shades, and then there are 6 shimmer shades on the top. It retails for $45, and yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and get started. I guess you guys want to swatch, right? Yeah. We're not gonna swatch because I don't want to get anything on this beautiful white sweatshirt that I tried so hard to find. Anyways, we are gonna go in first. We're gonna use Estate and Coastline, which are these two matte shades. One is like a soft peach tone, another one is like a little bit of a softer coral tone. So we're gonna go in with those, and we're gonna be using my fluffy brush. It does have a little fallout, but that's typical for eyeshadow palettes. It does have fallout, so just be careful, especially if you're wearing white, such as my fit. If you hear me sniffling a lot, I do apologize. I am still getting over my cold that I tried to prevent before. I think we're good on the base. Next, I'm gonna go in with the Monte Carlo color, which is like this beautiful soft pink, kind of a blush color, or a blush color. I'm gonna go back in with the Coastline, which was the softer coral color. I wanna blend those lines out so that way they won't be harsh, ever so slightly. There's nothing wrong with the eyeshadow. I don't know what's going on with my eye. I might have had a reaction to something that I used in my skincare last night. Not even today, but last night. I noticed that before I even put on my makeup that I had like a weird scaliness going on my eyes, and I'm like, what the heck is that? So what's happening is I'm putting on Monte Carlo, and I'm buffing it out more than normal or longer than normal, because of whatever the reaction was that I used in whatever product I used last night. Because my skincare routine from this morning is what I normally use, and I've never had an issue, but today I'm having issues, so yeah. I think I'm digging it. Now I am going to go in with this beautiful hot pink Bahamas number right there. Yes, we're about to go in with that. Such a beautiful color, and we definitely wanted to make a statement here at the party. So I'm gonna take my Zoeva 231, which is a petite crease brush, because we really want that to be defined. We're really focusing all the colors that I'm gonna be using on the outer portion of my eye area, because we wanna have like a slanted kind of chinky look. So that's why I'm using this brush, because we're gradually gonna be building up. And I'm not gonna lie, because of whatever the reaction is that my skin has been having with the skincare that I was using last night, it's really not doing this palette as much justice as I would prefer. And it's not the pigment of the palette that's not working, it's just that my eye is having an issue. Now I'm gonna go back in with my 217 brush, pick up a little bit of that Monte Carlo, which was that soft pink we used in the beginning, to buff out those lines around Bahamas so it won't be so harsh. Now I'm gonna go in with my Zoeva Luxe brush. It's a little bit smaller compared to this one. You see the difference? So it's a little bit smaller than this one because I want to get really exact right in my crease area, because I really want to have this smoke exaggerated look right in here. So I wanted to go in with a tighter brush. And now I'm gonna pick up Cans, which is this beautiful lavender purple. Let's see how that works on its own. I might have to go in with Calm, which is the beautiful chocolatey color, chocolatey brown. But we'll see how the Cans works by itself. I'll tell you one thing, this thing is pigmented. This purple is pigmented because I just made it act. I like made a boo-boo right here. I didn't mean to go up that high, but look at that. Let's go. Even though it's an accident, look at that. I do believe that I am going to go in with that Calm just because I do want it to be a little bit more defined purple, but I don't want it to take away from the purple. I'm just fixing up what I messed up. So now I'm picking up both the can and the palm. So me mixing that can with the palm is giving me the color purple that I want. I feel like the look that I'm going for, that if you were a little bit lighter or if you're Caucasian, you could still get away with doing this look and not having to mix the two colors to get that dimension, such as myself, because I am a little bit darker. And like I mentioned before, I want to have it to kind of go like this. So I really want to focus on the outer corner. I love purples and pinks, man. It's my jam right there. And I'm just going back in with the 2 shades Coastline and Monte Carlo right here, and right here. Back and forth to soften up those lines. And I'm actually gonna swatch Cabana, which is like this kind of mustardy yellow color right here. Hold on, can you see it? Okay, it's weird, but if I angle it like this, you can see it a little bit better. And it looks like this. Kind of chalky looking, but I think one is going to complement. I want it to be that light color right here in the front. I'm actually going to mix in a little bit of that in Estate. You know what? No. Sales. Let's try something more out there. Sales is this white tone, and I'm going to mix that and Cabana together. Going in with my 205 brush from Time, because I want it to be concentrated. This white is so pretty. I'm not gonna lie, I thought I would have to use a concealer to have the white really show, but I actually don't. It's pigmented, which is what you want. If you're spending them coins, you want to make sure you get your money's worth. And I feel like I am with this. Put that Cabana right there to kind of tone it down a little. You see now how my eyes look like that? That's the look we're going for. Beautiful, right? Loving it. Loving it. I don't think I want to do an eyeliner because I don't want to jack up the white. I think it looks pretty just the way that it is because it's giving me that. So next I'm going to be going in with this Seychelles color. Seychelles. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. It's this beautiful aqua blue color. I will swatch that. I'm going to be brave enough. And these suckers are creamy. These are cream. Look at that. So freaking pretty. Can we just... Pretty. Anyways, I'm going to go in with that. And I'm going to be taking my smudge brush, my Zoeva smudger brush. This is 226. And I'm going to grab that. And I'm going to put that underneath. This is a very creamy foil color. Like, it is very creamy. Like, I'm barely dipping my brush inside of the pan to grab it. This is very beautiful. So creamy. I will say this about Anastasia eyeshadows, especially her shimmers and her frosted eyeshadows. They are very soft, they are very durable, they're not chalky, they move, and they're not stiff. Like, it's amazing how creamy this eyeshadow is. And as you can see, I'm kind of like going up a little bit. And I think I'm gonna go in either with Palermo, which is the shade right next to it, or I'm gonna take Mediterranean, and I wanna use that as a transition towards the back end of my eye. I haven't decided yet. I could just play with this color by itself for like hours. I love how creamy it is. So let me swatch Palermo and Mediterranean and see which one I want to use like right out there. Because like I said, I'm going for like a kind of cat eye, chinky eye, whatever you want to call it. So let me swatch both and see. So Mediterranean looks more like a periwinkle, like that purplish, that cool blue purple color. And then Palermo looks more like pink, a frosted pink. So I think I'm gonna take Mediterranean because I feel like that's gonna give me the look I want. Using the same smudger brush, and I'm gonna focus that on the outer portion. And don't worry, I am gonna smoke out the bottom portion so it can really emphasize that like cat eye. So now I'm gonna go in with my pencil brush, and I'm gonna pick up a little bit more of the can in the palm to smoke out the bottom, focusing right at the back end. I will say this, the frosted colors are those type of colors that you could just use your finger and apply it. Heck, you could use a brush. You saw me use my smudger brush, and apply it. You wouldn't necessarily need a setting spray to wet your hand or wet the product for it to give you that nice creamy consistency. I've noticed that with a lot of eyeshadows nowadays, especially the frosted colors, they're starting to be a little bit more softer, so that way you don't necessarily have to use setting powder or setting spray. I am gonna go back in on the top with that purple and that brown, because again, we don't want that to get lost. We want that to be as smoky as possible. I love the fact that I'm mixing the mattes and the shimmers. I have the shimmers focused on the bottom and the mattes on top. Like, I don't want to alter it. I don't want to do too much shimmer on the top, except for my inner corner. I think that's pretty much what I want. At this point, I'm just playing with the blue. It's so beautiful. That is it, my dear. Yes. All right. Let me just buff this out a little bit more. Blue is just so beautiful, so beautiful. All right, so I'm gonna finish the rest of my look, and then I'll be back to give you my final thoughts on the new Riviera palette. So stay tuned. So I'm back, makeup is done, and here is my final look. And I just want to give you guys my final results about the brand new Riviera palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. All in all, the excitement, the anticipation was well worth it, because the quality, the pigment of the eyeshadows are amazing. I mean, look at this white. This white is absolutely beautiful. And the great thing about it is the fact that you actually don't need to two-tone with another concealer to really have that impact of specifically that white color. It's beautiful, it's bomb. Another one of my favorites is the options that you have, because of the fact that, again, you have multiple matte shades that you can play around with, and you also have a good amount of shimmers that you also have to play around with. The shimmers are very creamy, they're kind of chromatic, because like even the Seychelles, I feel like I'm saying that wrong. The Seychelles color, which is this beautiful blue, again, let me just remind you how beautiful it is. So it's like that gorgeous aqua color, but then it kind of fades into like a green, a complementary green. Is just absolutely beautiful. And that's just one of the shimmers, but all of the shimmers are nice and creamy. Like I mentioned before, you don't necessarily need like a setting spray to apply it. You can if you prefer to do that, but because it's not chalky, but they're nice and creamy, you can actually apply it with your finger, or you can even apply it with a brush like I did for my waterline. All in all, again, I love the packaging of it. I like the vibes that it's giving. I think it will complement any skin tone. Like, look at all the colors that I put on my eyes. Like, it's funky, you can be creative, and as wild and as, again, funky as you want to be with this particular palette. Again, it retails for $45 on Sephora. It's available on, I believe, March the 8th is the official date that this is available. So this particular video will be out before then, just so it can give you an idea of a look you can go for with this particular palette. It's amazing. I love it. I love all of her eyeshadow palettes. This has got to be one of my favorites, and it's very standard. It has the mirror, it has the little double-ended brush, and then it has good quality product inside of it. I would definitely recommend it if you're looking for something that gives you like that funky vibe, that retro vibe like I'm trying to do, or if you're looking for something a little bit more nautical, you can also play around with it. I really would recommend this to anyone who wants to play around with colors. So yeah, that's my final thoughts of this. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.